Yes. Yes. How are you guys doing today? Welcome to another episode of Around the Bar. Yes. Hit it. Oh my god. I've been watching a lot. I think I've kind of talked about it a few times, but I've been watching a lot less, or listening to a lot less like rap music. Kind of getting back into the style of music I used to watch. I'm watching this. I've been watching this girl. I don't know. Play a ton of different instruments at once. Her name is Tash Sultana. Look at this. Watch this. Look at that. Look at everything she's playing. This is one person. Sounds like a band. One person just playing it all. I hope I don't get copyright struck, but she's just looping her guitar over and over. And then she also starts singing. I don't know if the singing comes in. Singing doesn't come in until here. Let's fast forward to the singing before I sing. Look, she's got an MPC, doing her own drums. She's doing her own bass. Oh, it's just incredible. Like, I can't stop listening to it. I love it, man. I love it. All right. So yeah, that's what I've been listening to a lot lately is blues music and different types of music. But here we go. Welcome to Around the Bar, one of the coolest series in the world. And if you listen to me talk on my computer for multiple minutes, then I think you are an enlightened individual. But regardless, besides that, it is just a series where I talk. I'm gonna take my headset off. It's just a series where I talk to the people watching, and we act as if we're in a bar together, a virtual bar, much like VR. And we have a drink together today. My drink is high quality 9:20 a.m. coffee, and it says "Genius at Work" because my ego is unmatched. But in reality, I won this coffee cup at Main Event. If you don't know what Main Event is, it's Chuck E. Cheese with alcohol. So you can only have so much ego getting a Genius at Work mug from Main Event. Man, I kind of just turned on the camera. Usually I have something to talk about, but I don't believe I've done it around the bar since defending Seth, saying that he was going to have a strong showing to the end of World War II. So I think now is an appropriate time to take my first sip. Yeah, down in the comments, let me know what you guys are drinking. It's been a crazy couple of weeks, man. I think that blackout week was very good for me, and I believe it was also very detrimental to my my personal health. First of all, I did stream more. I ended up playing the game. You know, got 1,330 kills or something like that. And ended up playing like 3 days. Like my play time was 3 days in the 7 days that it was out. It's kind of disgusting, but I got really good, and it's probably the best I've gotten at a particular game that fast. And then it sucks because I would get into games with Crim6 or you know, some other people, and they would still just be, you know, that little bit much better. But I never was a detriment. I never costed the team. I just didn't get as many kills because Ian would just play super fast. But regardless, I'm kind of, I digress. Is that the way to say it? One of the best things about this video series is that I'm not wearing pants, and you'll have no idea that I'm not wearing pants. And if I hadn't told you, you would absolutely have no idea. But definitely one of the perks of this is I don't have to stand up at all. So now, whether I'm wearing underwear or not, you're gonna have to use your imagination there, because I can't give away all of my secrets. I can't. I really can't. But let me sip again. Blackout, man. It was huge for my stream. It was huge for just being able to get hours into the actual game, because I really think that I could do big things next year within Blackout, within Call of Duty. And the most important part is that you actually get good at the game, in my opinion, because people, I think watching YouTubers, struggle through games, I think that's kind of dying out, especially, and I think Fortnite had a big part to do about that. Once you watch in Black Ops 2, I believe, is when I was watching, or Modern Warfare 3, even Modern Warfare 2 is when I was watching like live commentaries, and you kind of get over watching the pub guys play, the YouTubers, the content creators play, whenever you're watching Seth. Whenever you're watching Scump drop, 100 kills a game in just a regular Black Ops 2 game, and then you're watching, pro players play, or people that are really good at their craft in public matches, you kind of get used, you kind of get over watching, why would I watch, one of these, I don't want to say any names, but why would I, if I was a Fortnite fan, why am I not watching Ninja? Why am I not watching Tfue? Everybody that's blowing up, other than a select few that are just hilarious individuals, the people that are blowing up are blowing up in Fortnite because they're actually, one of the reasons is because they're really good at the game. So, like, very extended, elaborated way to say I played the shit out of the Blackout beta, and I played it. I streamed a lot. I did play a little bit off stream. It's the first time I've done this dual Elgato type thing. And actually, today is the day that, probably right after I get done recording this, I'm gonna upload my first ever montage. I want my montage grind to be really good, and I want it to be chill, fun music. Whenever I upload a montage, people are excited to watch it and just vibe out. There's a few montage creators that even to this day, whenever they upload a montage, I have to check it out, and I kind of want to. That's kind of where I'm theming my my montages off of. I can actually, let's look at one of them, because I'm uploading obviously montages in raw gameplay. There's no phase cam. It's not a stream rip. It's a 1080p. 60 frames per second. I'm using one Elgato. It's crazy. I'm using one Elgato to record my gameplay, and the other Elgato to record my streams, or to stream off of. So it's actually something that I'm taking really seriously. I want to play a lot, and I want to record my actual. I want to have a montage feel, because there was a lot of times in my life where I would record my gameplay trying to get a montage out, and I never really put out that big thing. It was just kind of me in college, just messing around, sniping, even some competitive stuff, but for the most part, it just didn't work out as much. This guy right here, his name is JQ. I don't know if you guys ever were a montage. Let me turn it down. I'm not actually listening to it. I don't know if you guys were ever a montage watchers. Like if you ever watched any of these montages from back in the day, but this guy just has obviously super vibey music. I hope my levels aren't too bad right now. Hold on, let me check. Okay. So, yeah, as you can see, like, it's just raw gameplay, but it's just like to music, and it's just kind of like super vibey, and just the way that he's playing, it's not like there's no like oh, boom, look, it's just constant, and then he's picking up guns, picking up grenades. There's no standards to this. I'm not really looking at the feed more so than just the vibe that the entire montage creates. There's one part that I want to get to, and then I'm done. So this is kind of like what I'm like angled at whenever I'm watching, or whenever I'm playing. I just kind of wanted to make a, I was actually streaming, going for like clips and blackout rather than going for wins. This is the best part. I'm gonna turn it up. Let's watch it. Oh yeah, then he just keeps going. He's on a 10 kill streak. It's just whenever I was big into the montage scene for a very long time, and it hit a point. I know it pissed Hecz off. It pissed all the people. It pissed Predator off. It pissed D-Treats off. The people, these snipers that were at the top, they were running shit. Definitely Predator. I mean, you can arguably say Hecz, even though he's never been too good at sniping. Definitely not uncomparable to Predator and D-Treats. And then you have Montage come, later and then basically just wipe everyone and take that like top spot. But those guys were, they didn't really like the new like feed. Like if you don't watch montages, the kill feed became the most important part of sniping, of montages. You'd have to get 4 in a row for it even to be considered cool. And then that got ridiculous because everybody could hit a 4. Everybody could hit a quad feed. Scump hit a quad feed or 2 quad feeds in a teamtage that Optic put out, like in early Black Ops 2. And so it got a little ridiculous because then now you're not even watching the skill of these players, as they're sniping, multiple people in a game, and all you're doing is watching the text in the bottom left-hand corner. So a lot of people couldn't really adjust because it was just unfortunate. And it was like literally you would hit 3 in a row, and then somebody would leave the game, and it would say, George not George has left the game, and it says it in white text, and then you hit another one, and that's not considered a clip, even though if George had just not left the game, that text wouldn't have been there. And now you have a split quad feed is what it's called. It's not so much about the gameplay anymore, rather than just the text at the bottom left. So then I discovered this guy's channel, JQ, and I think he sometimes puts some stuff out still. And just the way that it was just gameplay. It's just him dominating and then some music over top. So that's kind of what I want to do. I want to definitely make some the blackout montage that I made. I'm actually really, really excited about it. I'm excited to see what people have to say. Everyone that I've showed already says it's super clean. So it's the first one, man. It's the first time that I take this new vibe of recording and streaming at the same time. And I don't know many people that do it. So it's a cool vibe. But blackout, I've talked about it on multiple tweets, and I believe 2 different podcasts on the Optic podcast now. But I really, really, it blew my expectations out of the water. And I always said I didn't have very much expectations because I was so happy with the multiplayer beta that blackout just kind of came out, and if it sucked, it sucked. I'm used to console BRs not being too hot, but I played it and I couldn't believe how good it was. I couldn't believe it. Obviously, you have the little tiny things, the what is it, the glitches. You can't get out of the bag, and obviously you have armor. That was a big ordeal, but for the most part, it's just unreal how good it was. Just unreal. It was a beta, and everybody's pissed, man. Everybody's pissed that it's gone. Like, it's not even pissed. We're sad. And when I say everybody, I'm not just saying the COD community. I'm saying the BR PC community. You have Shroud, you have Doc, you have what Summit that are just saying they miss blackout. How crazy is that? How crazy. How crazy, man. It's wild. But I really think it could be a super, super good year. Just got back from the Ghost Throwback tournament, which was probably arguably a top 2 tournament that I've ever thrown. It was so much fun to watch. So much fun to watch these guys play on the same team again. and the comms and stuff. The comms between Study and Rambo is wild. The comms between the entire Optic Nation team who ended up winning it, just insane. It ended up going to Game 5, Round 11 of second series, and Bo's got a 1v3 and Killa. I was probably one of the best I've ever seen Killa play. He was not missing, and he was melting. I saw a tweet that said Killa back on Fios is a scary thing, and it is. It looked scary. A lot of people were saying that Killa raised his stock for the turn, or for, as a player because of my tournament. And if that is the case, man, I couldn't be happier. But it was really awesome tournament, an 8-team tournament. Still lasted like 9 hours, which I don't really know how that happened, but it did. And that being said, this upcoming Saturday we're going to do it again. Black Ops 3. I already have 8 teams, and there are some powerhouse names, and this time it's going to be on my channel. Blake's going to fly in. I already bought his stuff. Blake's gonna fly in. We're gonna just shoot the shit. Really, it was crazy being there at UMG because their production was so good. They had graphics made. They had little B-rolls for every single map. They had sovereign domination, and they would pan over the B flag. And I'm just sitting here like, oh no, next week is gonna be so bad compared to this. Like all I'm gonna do next week is just sit there and say. So I don't know anything about Black Ops 3, but what I do know is we can jump into a listen-in with these guys, and then I'm gonna do it, and then drink alcohol. I mean that's my plan. But I do think it should be fun, man. Black Ops 3 going into Black Ops 4. I think pro players are excited to play in it, which is really cool. And I don't know. I'm excited. I love throwback tournaments so much, man. I really do. I think it's cool. I think 4 days before Black Ops 4 comes out, the PS4 gets exclusive content. Early release, I believe. So I think we get Blackout 4 days early. I don't know if that's true, but I think it is. I think I saw that that's what was happening. 4 days early, and I'm super torn. What am I going to do? What am I going to play? I think the first night that the game comes out, I'm going to be playing tournaments, like just regular ass tournaments, but then also Blackout is there, and for the first year in COD, we've got too much content. We went from the start of World War II, where half the shit wasn't even ready yet, to getting too much content 4 days before the game even comes out. Man, Treyarch is the best. Vonderhaar is he's a freak, man. He's thank God for that, man. Thank God for that, man. It's crazy that Hecz was able to get a podcast episode in with Vaughn. I mean, it's not crazy. I think Hecz is cashing in all his checks, man. It's it's cool to see. Hecz has built up all these connections with all these people over all these years, and never truly asked for anything. He's not one that he's been opening up opportunities for other people. You got to think, because other than Vaughn, you got to think, would Seth, him trying to go through the people that he's already shot interviews with, which are Vaughn, Fwiz, Seth, and Nade. You got to think, other than Vaughn, like, where would those three people be without Old Optic, without Hecz, without the opportunities? Not saying they wouldn't have still succeeded, but it probably wouldn't have been as easy as it is, or as it ended up being. So, and he, I think he's cashing his checks now. He's just like, this vlogging shit took a turn. Not only for him, but I think for YouTube. You don't see. I think Casey's the only one left. No, David Dobrik. I don't watch him, but I don't really watch any YouTube anymore. But all the old Ben, what is it? Ben, I forgot his name. Ben something, and then Fun for Louie. Like, I used to watch a lot of different daily vloggers, and it seems like they've all kind of, daily vlogging is not really the wave. I think it's kind of, it has its people, but I think it's more along the lines of other other high quality videos that that people want to watch now. I don't know. YouTube's sticky, man. It's hard to figure out. I definitely haven't. I think I had it figured out at one point, and I haven't been able to get back there, which is fine. I'll figure it out. But but going back to that, the vlogging in esports definitely kind of took a turn, and so now Hecz is like, what the hell am I gonna do? And I think him doing a traveling podcast, especially opening it up with Fwiz and David Vonderhaar, that's big, and I think that could be big for esports, and it's definitely going to be good for Hecz. So that's cool to see. That is really cool to see. I've been talking a lot lately on different podcasts, and I like it, man. I genuinely enjoy it. I like to figure out what content I could make that is unique and is that people want to watch. And I feel like I have a good idea. Obviously, in a perfect world, we're back at the Scuff House and I'm vlogging again. Yes, I think a lot of people would like to see vlogs, but I've been my lazy answer to that is that there's just nothing to vlog, man. It's me grinding, basically on this setup for a majority of the day, and there's nothing really more to that. I guess it's nothing that you want to watch. It's me. I just admitted that I'm not wearing pants, and unless you, I just feel like it's not the same, man. I'm not going to round the corner. I'm not going to see Bose. I'm not going to shoot the shit with Bose. I'm not going to talk to Will, a clip right after that, and then get in a car and go with Lethal and Nick to get food and stop by Target. And it's just not the same, man. It's not what people want to see. I promise you it's not. I've actually recorded 4 different vlogs over the past 3 months and didn't put out any of them because I looked at it and I would say if I put this out, it's not good, man. It's not entertaining stuff. It is me doing me, and you don't want to watch me doing me. Very, very few of you out there would probably be interested in that. Man, it's a lot has been going on. Let me see if I hope this is in sync. Let me try this really quick. I'm gonna disappear, and then I'm gonna come right back, and maybe it's in sync a little bit better. I don't know. Just sometimes resetting my camcorder works out. I actually have so many Elgato products because not only do I use those 2 Elgatos I was telling you about earlier, but I also have the cam link for this camcorder that I record through. So that's why the Elgato thing popped up. And luckily now you can use multiple, because that was the issue, is that I couldn't record and stream at the same time because you can't use multiple inputs. But now that you can, I was like, well, shit, I'm just going to use everything. So that's kind of cool. Man, it's been weird. Let's get away from gaming for a little while. I haven't really had a chance to talk about the Mac Miller thing. Obviously, and there's a lot of stuff in music that's been going on. One thing that does really kind of bother me is that there's this everybody just not everybody. It seems like there's a good majority of people out there, maybe a vocal minority, that whenever someone passes away, man, whether it's obviously it's been a lot lately. It's been X and Peep and Mac Miller. And it's been the first time, a side note, it's been the first time in my lifetime that artists that I've actually listened to have been passing away. Obviously I knew who Michael Jackson was when he passed, and it's happened multiple times since then. Prince, uh, Whitney Houston. Like there's a lot of people that passed away that I knew their music, but I didn't actively listen to it. And and for Peep, I did actively listen to his music. For X, I did actively listen to his music, and for Mac Miller, it's kind of somebody that I grew up on. In fact, like watching Senior Skip Day or watching Best Day Ever music videos when I was at the Scuff House was like it almost hurt to watch. And I remember looking at one of the YouTube comments on Senior Skip Day, and it said like this song meant so much, and this vibe meant so much to me at one point in my life that it almost hurts to watch. It almost hurts to put yourself in that in your own shoes from high school, because those are the most innocent years, and you're carefree, and you're with some people that you're going to consider your best friends for your entire life, and then one day it just goes away, man. It's over, and it hurts. I feel like I've lived a pretty I've lived a life where I have actually been able to maintain a lot of that kid vibe. I fucking play video games, and I made a career off of recording people that play video games, and I lived in a frat house of dirty, smelly gamers. Like I was able to maintain that, we're never gonna grow up style. But at the same time, it still hurt to watch, man. It just felt like a different lifetime, and it happened. That happened whenever I was in high school. I would say junior year of high school. That's when Mac Miller popped. That's when his Kids mixtape came out. That's also when Wiz Khalifa popped, and then they did stuff together. It was it was crazy. So whenever I listen to the old school Mac Miller, whenever I listen to the old school Wiz, like I think high school, and I think about that whole time, and think about playing soccer every day, and playing on two different teams, hanging out with Brandon every day, seeing Blake, just all those different things, going to church 3 times a week. Like there's a big part of my life that resonated around certain music, and Mac Miller was definitely one of them. And I guess to get back, wow, I sidetracked a lot, but to get back to my original point, it seems like whenever people like that, or artists like that pass away, it seems like there's so many people fighting to take the high road, fighting to feel the best based off of someone else's passing, and I just can't get behind that, man. Whether it's something like I think the biggest example of it is from when X passed away, and his art or his album hit #1 on the charts. Mac Miller passed away. He had just released an album that didn't do too well, or didn't do as good, because it came out on the same day as Astro World, and obviously that's an artist that is blowing up and is in that top spot right now. So it didn't do as well as I think he had hoped. But as soon as he passed away, that album skyrocketed to #1, and people would say, people would quote tweet it and say, "Where was this energy?" Or SMH, y'all are fake. Y'all are fake. Y'all are fake because you're buying his album now that he's passed, rather than doing it when he was alive. And like I just said, Mac Miller and his albums meant so much in my life, but I didn't listen to this album. I listened to the Tiny Desk thing that was put on NPR. But there's just so much music nowadays that, like, how dare you? Like, I read that, and it had it went viral. It's the type of a tweet that went viral. Where was this energy when he was alive? The energy when he was alive is the same energy that any artist fighting to put out any project is receiving whenever there are albums and mixtapes that are put out every single day. Like I can't keep up with everything, You know, and if Drake and Travis Scott and all these people are putting out albums that everybody is getting behind, and then Mac Miller puts out an album and I don't hear about it as much because the marketing isn't there or because I just wasn't looking, then whenever Mac Miller does pass away and I just think, oh my God, what, like, I am actually feeling a type of way from that because I grew up off of his music. And then I think, well, I have to check out his album because I liked the Tiny Desk video that I saw, and I liked, you know, all the music that I saw from there. So maybe I can check out his album and see how different, you know, how different his music has, you know, evolved over the years since I used to watch him in high school. And then I check out the album, I check out all of the top songs off of it. And then people will say, where's that energy whenever he was alive? That energy didn't exist because this guy passed away. Like, don't, and instead of using your efforts to attack the people that are now deciding they want to listen to the music of an artist who has just passed away, to somewhat give, you know, to give, you know, themselves, I guess, to give some sort of credit, to actually listen to his music in memory of his actual person, instead of attacking those people. Why don't you attack the people that are using this as a glorific, like, oh, thank God Mac Miller's dead, I hated his music anyway. There's people like that. Attack those people, man. Don't attack the people that are actually trying to remember this man. And if they didn't know him in the first place, they're trying to understand why so many people were affected by his death in the first place. Because that's a kind of vibe that what is it doing? Like, and so I see it so many times. I saw it when I didn't see it as much when Peep died, because I think more people, there was a lot of people just blaming like drugs and stuff. I didn't see it. I did see it a lot when X died, and when Mac Miller died, it was like it was like I saw it everywhere. And you know, whenever Lil Peep died, I actually saw an interview of someone saying, you know, there were so many people affected by Peep's death, and I had never heard his music, and I had heard that he, you know, was making waves and doing, or making music that actually was like impressive and the best in his genre is what I kept hearing. And this guy, like, if you ever listen to him, it's definitely a different style. It's not rap. It's not mumble rap. It's not even hip hop, in my opinion. It's the closest you can relate it is like Post Malone, or like late, like later, X XXX Temptation, I guess. It's very like melodic and sad and melancholy and heavy on you know, heavy on singing, I guess, rather than like vibey singing, rather than rapping. But you know, I think Peep's like biggest inspirations were like some rappers, and then like Blink 182. You know, like he's kind of it's like Post and Peep. I feel like could have done some crazy stuff together. That kind of vibe. But whenever he passed and people were saying, people were checking out his music for the first time, I think people got it. I think people thought, wow, this isn't just some Xan head that, you know, just made mumble rap and wasn't inspirational. Like, he actually made music, man. He made not only dope shit, like he wasn't like just making dope beats, like he was making full like music that you could really like, that gives me chills still listening to it, but even more so now, obviously. And I think the same happened with X, and the same happened with Mac Miller, man. New Mac Miller, you know, the Mac Miller album that just dropped it's different. It's not we're just some motherfucking kids, or it's not this relaxed, carefree high school kicking it style music. It's not 2009 no more. It's not 2009 where I used to be the new guy that was just wearing snapbacks and talking to ladies. I have to figure out how my life progresses and what I can do with my career with that. And he made deeper music and music that that you really had to think about. And I love that shit, man. I really do. And, you know, I kind of feel not guilty. I don't really feel guilty. Like I don't like blame myself, but there is some sort of level of guilt of not, you know, not having listened to that music prior to his death. But there's nothing to blame, to feel blame because of it from other people, because I'm not actively sitting at my desk listening to every single person hoping that they don't die. Like, come on, what kind of energy are you even putting into the world? Like, just be grateful that people are actually taking the time to remember these artists, because they're gone no matter what. And if their music is able to affect people after their death, then that's something that's greater than a lot of us will ever, you know, just will ever get the chance to do. You know, there's so many people when they pass away, that's it. There's not a worldwide legacy that they get to leave behind and show people. But for some of these musicians and stuff like that, I think it's possible. So I don't know why. I feel like that was been on my chest for for a really long time. It is sad, man. It's sad to see all these artists and how they've and just how they've passed away, man. I don't know. It's sad. What is that? It's two drug overdoses and a murder, man. There's a lot that needs to be talked about. And you got to think, in hip hop, it's a sticky place, because rapping about drugs and murder now is like, that's like what hip hop was kind of built on, you know, is just being able to express yourselves when all this is going on and talk about it. But now I feel like we're at a point where you're tearing down, like, people within hip hop are tearing down other people within hip hop whenever the new wave is saying, you know, why don't we just lift each other up? Why don't we fix things instead of rapping about drugs until sorry, rapping about drugs until a lot of our rappers are dying from drug overdoses or bad strains of, you know, drugs, or rapping about murdering people, and now our rappers are getting murdered. Like, why don't we rap about other things? But then you get into the point where, what do people want to listen to? I think people still, even after all of that, want to listen to that kind of stuff. They want to listen to, I got this drink in my cup. You know, they want to listen to sipping lean and shooting shit. But I don't know. It's at a weird point, because whereas that can be hype and I can get behind stuff like that and I can dance to it. If I had to sacrifice that in order to keep some of these artists alive, then fuck it. Let's change our lyrics up a little bit, you know? Wow. Let me take another drink. My throat, man. Oh, goodness. What else has been going on? Something else popped into my head in the middle of all that, but I can't remember. I really can't remember. I'm watching a new show on Netflix called Ozark. If you guys, I saw a bunch of people on Twitter talking about it, and it's super addicting, man. I'm really liking it. Netflix is nuts. Did you see that Cat Williams and Kevin Hart are getting into it? What year is it? What year is it? I will say that throughout all, I was going to talk about the MGK Eminem thing. That's what I was going to talk about. But let's talk about this first. This is the new shit. That Eminem MGK shit, whatever, man. Really quick, MGK's song was not bad. If you think it's bad, then you're just so much on Eminem's side that it's just not. you're not listening with a non-biased ear. Yeah, the MGK thing, it wasn't bad. The Eminem one was shocking in an Eminem fashion. He says the P Diddy thing. Uh, he says he has some hard hitting bars, but the you don't have to live in my shadow like that stuff. But it's so forgettable, man. Like I don't even remember it. It's not like that wasn't an Eminem diss track. Like, and that kind of goes back to what everybody's saying in the first place is that Eminem isn't as memorable as he used to be. Like, you got to sit back, homie, relax, kick back, grab a six pack. Yeah, Dre, sick track. I got the same exact tat that's on Nick's back. Like this is a warning shot. Like the warning. That was his Mariah Carey diss is the best diss track in history. The best ever. Maybe not the most popular ever. It's not like a back to back or ether type vibe where everybody's listening to it, but it is insane. Like if I was hoping he'd put something out like that, but I think he's so in his own head now that he wants to have the choppy flow where he rhymes 100 words a second, and then he also wants to sit back and have something fun to listen to. So now he's like choppy on his delivery, and then also like kind of vibey. I don't know. It's not like Slim Shady. And I didn't mind the Kamikaze album. I thought it was good, but I don't know. Well, it's just not the same. And it's kind of forgettable. He got him. Like, let's get that straight. Eminem won. I'm not saying MGK. And if I saw an interview with MGK where he's like pouring vodka on the floor. He's like, just pour one out for that. He called me a mumble rapper. And it's like, if he would have been like, I didn't really like it, but whatever. It's Eminem. I would have been like, MGK's cool, but he was like making an active case that he, beat Eminem, and I was like, you didn't beat Eminem. Eminem didn't ruin your career the way that people are saying he did. You can still go out and about in public because you had a good showing and this was good PR for you. But you didn't win. You didn't win. Every time I listen to that Mariah Carey diss, though, I'm just like, oh God. That is Eminem, and that's the Eminem you don't want to fuck with. Like, and he seemed very passionate. I don't think he was very passionate about the MGK thing. I think he just wanted people to know that if you come at him, he's gonna counterattack and make some jaws drop. So that's what I was talking about there. But the Kevin Hart thing, I'm actually. And I'm one of those people, man. It's like Kevin Hart, whenever he came out the gate so hot, and his comedy was so different. It was so family oriented, and it was so goofy and so good, man. His first two specials were like unbelievable. I laughed my ass off. But then his last special, and then he comes out and then he does so many. So many movies and his cameos on so many like late night shows and does so many YouTube videos. Like, he's literally everywhere. He's such a grinder. But you see him so much that when it comes back around to that comedy special, I was like watching the one that he did in the football arena. There's like so many people there and like set fire, and then the fire comes up. I mean, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But I was watching that and I couldn't really get into it because I think I like Kevin Hart more in movies now than I like them, because that like shock of, oh wow, this isn't Cat Williams just being crazy. This isn't Dave Chappelle using all of his voices. This is something new. It's Kevin Hart coming up and he's mostly talking about family and he's mostly telling stories about his family and how crazy they are and telling stories within his own life, which is something that I mean, there's probably tons of comedians out there that do the same thing, but I hadn't listened. I was listening to Dane Cook and Dave Chappelle and Cat Williams and I don't know what other comedians, because this was a long time. What was this? High school. I was a senior in high school. So yeah, I think I kind of got over that. And whenever his last special came out, I was like, well, I don't know what I think about this, and I ended up not watching through the whole thing because I just kind of Kevin Harted out. Like I'd rather watch him play a character in a movie than listen to. I think I'd kind of gotten over that style of comedy and was more. I was at the time I listened to Louis C.K.'s stand up instead, which is obviously very vulgar and less not family oriented, but he's not talking about his family and stuff. Whatever. I just said Louis C.K.'s name, so now all I'm thinking about is that shit. But now you've got Kevin Hart and Cat Williams going at it on 2 different radio shows. And actually, I think it's weird because it happened so fast. I watched the Cat Williams thing and I was like, wow, he's like kind of going in on Kevin Hart and on Tiffany Haddish and things like that. New age comedy. And I was like, he kind of sounds bitter, but he kind of sounds like a boss at the same time. And then I heard Kevin Hart's, and I was like, damn, serious Kevin Hart? That is something you do not see too often. He was pissed, man. And I thought it was dope. If you haven't seen it, definitely go watch The Breakfast Club. Maybe skim through Cat Williams on whatever radio show he was on where he was talking about his specials and his success and everything like that, and then go watch Kevin Hart on The Breakfast Club. And man, it's crazy. I love it when comedians get serious, not even just in real life, but in different roles. Like I loved Jim Carrey in The Truman Show. I loved Steve Carell in Big Short. I think Big Short is probably my favorite movie of all time now. It might have surpassed Remember the Titans. I don't know. That being said, I have to watch Remember the Titans again. But The Big Short is just incredible. I love Jonah Hill and all the things that he stars in when he's being serious, especially like Wolf of Wall Street. And I don't know, man. The biggest one is Robin Williams in How About Them Apples? Matt Damon. You know what I'm talking about. Shit. What is the name, man? I'm Googling it. But yeah, those whenever comedians are in a serious role, and I think Jim Carrey also did another one too. What else did he do? Good Will Hunting, that's what it's called. Good Will Hunting with Robin Williams and Matt Damon. I think, I don't know. I love it when and actors are good at it too, man. I think Robin Williams and Good Will Hunting is probably one of the best acting I've ever seen, and also Steve Carell in The Big Short was. There was actually so many people that said they didn't watch The Big Short because they didn't like Steve Carell. Okay, I watched The Office. I can't even imagine not liking Steve Carell in the first place, but I know a lot of people don't, and I know it's because of like 3 things. It's because of clips they've seen of The Office where Michael is being a dick, and I get that. You grow to love Michael. You don't the first time ever watching The Office, first season, you're not going to like Michael. I get that. It hurts to say, but I get that. Bruce Almighty, the character that Steve Carell plays, he does stuff like that, and his character is crazy. I get that part. And then also 40-Year-Old Virgin, same thing. But as a fan of The Office, the 6 or 7 times throughout the entire series, whenever Michael is actually being serious, the Savannah episode, when he says, "They need this, Jim. They need this," or the "Did I stutter" episode at the very end where he said, "You don't have to like me, but you have to respect me." Like those moments in The Office make my heart pound. Like those are my favorite moments whenever or even the very end when he takes off the mic and he says, let me know when this airs. And he's like Michael, because I feel like Michael, when the cameras are off in the office, I feel like he's less of a over the top nutcase. So whenever he does have those serious moments in the show, I love it. So I know that Steve Carell can be a very good, serious actor. So whenever I saw The Big Short and just his phenomenal job in The Big Short, and then just to have other people say, I don't really like it, or I don't really want to watch The Big Short because Steve Carell is in it, and I don't really like how wild and stuff he is. And I'm just like, come on, it's so amazing, though. What do you guys think? I think I'm going to wrap it up. I'm kind of ranted, but I'm glad that I didn't talk about video games the whole time. I feel like that's with Fortnite, and then with the new Call of Duty wave, I feel like I've been talking about video games a lot. And then with optics sucking in World War II, I feel like I've been talking about video games a lot. I'm glad that I was able to talk about music because I've kind of been wanting to just rant about this stuff, and I was glad that I got the opportunity. So thank you guys for watching this episode of Around the Bar. Let me know again in the comments what you were drinking. And let me know if you enjoy this. What should I upload to my channel? Help me out, because I've been struggling lately, and that's all I've really been thinking about. So hope you guys like the Ghost throwback. Hope you watch the Black Ops 3 throwback, and I hope you enjoy this video. See you next time. Peace.